Hi, I'm Janet Kurtz, Editor-in-Chief of InFocus.
And I'm Madeline Bradford, the Associate Editor of InFocus. And we're back this week with another very busy episode of In Good Company.
That's exactly right. We had a lot to cover this week, and it was so much fun. So
it was.
Why don't you kick us off?
I will. So I started off my week by covering Sips for Strength for the New Beginning Center. And the New Beginning Center is a nonprofit, women-only gym dedicated to promoting strength and well-being. Such an amazing cause. Mm-hmm. And over 85% of women who attend the 12-week New Beginnings program get to go at no cost based on income. So it really makes fitness and wellness accessible for all women in our community,
that's right.
Which is amazing. And through that accessibility, the New Beginning Center saves over $1 million each year in unexpected health costs.
Wow. See, that is so amazing. And just full disclosure, I am a client of the New Beginning Center, part of the social enterprise program. So my dues go to pay for a woman to go through that program. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, I've been doing it for almost a year, and not just the physical changes, but also just, I think, the mental changes and how it has helped me grow and change as a person has been phenomenal.
That's right. And that's what the event really emphasized this year. So, of course, it is a bourbon and a wine tasting, but there are also some very impactful speakers. And, of course, CEO Tash Weddle spoke very eloquently about the organization's mission, and she emphasized how strength not only changes mental lives, but physical lives, which is so incredible.
Wow.
And she also said that, you know, they're not just running a gym, they're really starting a movement for women and encouraging them to be strong in a world that often encourages women to shrink themselves or be the smallest person in the room. These women are lifting heavy weights, and it's so inspiring.
I know. When we did that story last October, I was so inspired by a woman that I met who has MS, but through the program had gained strength back, had gained some balance back. So it was really impacting her just on her day-to-day life. And it was amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So glad. Thank you so much for covering that.
Oh, I was happy to.
Great one. Well, while you were doing that, I was at a country thing happened on the way to Cure Parkinson's. And it's an offshoot of the very popular A Funny Thing Happened on the way to Cure Parkinson's in New York City. And all of this goes to fund the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So at age 29, Michael J. Fox was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He had a small tremor in his pinky finger. And I remember when that happened because I was about 14 at the time, and my grandfather had Parkinson's disease. And so it was an impactful moment in my life to think, I understand this announcement because of somebody that I know who has this diagnosis.
Right.
And there are about 10,000 Tennesseans living with Parkinson's disease today.
Wow.
So Michael J. Fox co-founded the Michael J. Fox Foundation to work to find a cure. And I love this, but their tagline is, "Here until Parkinson's isn't."
That's right. And they really want to go out of business and not be around forever because they want to find a cure, and they're so dedicated to that.
Exactly. And everyone in that room was, and by the way, it was the largest crowd they've had.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
It was fantastic. So, the beginning, there's a chef-driven reception. So this year it was Jake Howell of Peninsula who created these wonderful hors d'oeuvres that were sort of around the room. And then it was time for the show.
And how was it?
Oh my goodness. It was so inspiring, but also like the energy in the room was so incredible. Willie Geist was the host of the evening, and he was there last year as well, and he did such a great job. It was opened by Little Big Town. And we all know that Little Big Town is such a philanthropic group here in the city and around the country, but Kimberly Schlapman's mother is living with Parkinson's.
Oh, wow.
So it's a very personal journey for her too.
Right.
And so they opened with Boondocks, and just, I mean, everybody was just having such a great time. And I remember looking over and seeing Michael J. Fox. I mean, he was into the music. He stood at the end and when they were done with their set and gave them a standing ovation. I mean, it was just magical to be there for that.
Wow.
There were comedians like Maggie Hughes DiPaolo and Dusty Slay. And then, of course, the headliner, Eric Church.
And how was Eric Church?
It was amazing. It was absolutely an amazing show. And he just really, you know how sometimes you think of people just kind of maybe doing something because they're doing something for a friend and maybe they're not that passionate about it. He was so passionate and into it. And I mean, just, it was really wonderful.
That's amazing.
The best part of the night, however, was we learned that they raised $1.5 million to fund the fight against Parkinson's disease. Their goal for the organization is to raise a second $2.5 billion. So they've already reached that goal before.
Oh my goodness.
Now they're going for another try at another $2.5 billion to fund Parkinson's research and find a cure for this.
That's incredible. And how cool that you got to cover the event for all 4 years and really see how it's grown.
Yes. And I mean, technically for our readers, that's a relatively new event, but it has grown. People have learned about it and they are there for it. So I'm really excited. It was that was really heartwarming to see.
Well, thank you for covering that.
Yes, absolutely. So then the next day, I had a little bit of a busy day.
You did.
So the first thing I did was the Nashville Zoo's Conservation Lunch. And so they've had this, sometimes it's been rolled into the Call of the Wild dinner. Now it's sort of out on its own as its own fundraiser. And we know that the Nashville Zoo has a strong legacy in species conservation. And in fact, just last week, they announced the birth of their 50th snow leopard cub.
So exciting.
And so cute.
Yes.
I mean, and they also made national headlines for that, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was wonderful. And it should be noted that there are approximately 10,000 snow leopards left in the wild. So this lunch actually was focused on a different species, the tree kangaroo.
Okay.
Have you heard of a tree kangaroo?
I don't think so. Tell me more.
Well, they are adorable, small kangaroos. They are marsupials that live in trees in Papua New Guinea, actually.
Wow.
It's a very mountainous, forested region. And the local communities, they are part of that in that, you know, they provide food for the communities and are looked at as kind of like also in ceremonial, like headdresses and so things like that. But the species is declining. And so there really is a need for conservation. So before we talk about that, guests visited with Stormy, the miniature horse.
Oh, cute.
There was a Burmese python named Sasha, who I'm fine to have distance with. She seemed very nice, a very gracious hostess, but
well, that's good.
I'm good to not be there. So before the speaker took the stage, zoo president Rick Schwartz took the mic to announce the zoo's newest Indonesia-focused exhibit, which is also going to be the zoo's largest project to date.
Oh, wow.
So it'll be centered around the orangutan, which is very cool. But it will also house the clouded leopards, hornbills, small clawed otters, and tree kangaroos.
Oh, wow.
Which was a perfect segue to Dr. Lisa Daybeck of the Washington Woodland Park Zoo to her speech. And interestingly enough, she's going to be coming back to help consult on the habitat development for the tree kangaroos.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really like, this is not the last we will see of her. So, as I said, her work was primarily in Papua New Guinea, where they were working alongside other experts, but also the community. And that's the most important part, is they have the community buy-in, and they've been able to establish protected areas, working with the community and the government to protect these areas where there's no hunting of the tree kangaroos and they can thrive in this space. And at that same time, they have been supporting initiatives that improve healthcare, education, and economic stability.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Well, I can't wait to see that new exhibit. That sounds incredible.
Yes, I know. I can't wait. So we're going to be keeping a close ear to the ground on that one and when that one comes to fruition. So very exciting. And then that evening, I actually went to the Power of the Purse, which raises funds for the Women's Fund, which is part of the Community Foundation. And last year was a big year for Power of the Purse, actually. For years, it had been a ladies' luncheon, which I'd been to, which was very fun, very inspirational. But last year, they changed it to be an evening reception event with speakers. And the energy changed for good. People were so excited to be there. They were definitely in a shopping mood. VIP guests mingled in the sculpture garden at Oz before the main event. We had the co-chairs there, Julia Baker and Dahlia Suchit. Many longtime supporters were in attendance, so it was really great to see this crowd that was there to support and raise funds for this. The doors opened to the main performance hall, and there were tables laden with purses. So they've been working very hard to collect these purses and handbags, and it was all part of the silent auction, and of course raising funds. And that is what that fund is going to do to help this nonprofit. So for the opening, and this was so neat, the personal shopper Michael K. Elder opened with a great talk on the power a purse holds for women. So really what they're talking about is how it holds what she needs, not what others need from her. And also how the bag she carries sends a message to the world about who she is. Maybe it's a tote with snacks for kids and, little, what her family needs. But then maybe another time it's a structured small handbag with just a few cards and a pen for something. And so really it was a beautiful speech, and I could listen to it over and over again. It was just really empowering.
Yeah.
And then they had the live auction. So it was really just a wonderful evening, and I would encourage anybody to consider going next year because it's a lot of fun.
Well, I'm so glad you covered that. Yeah. Last year, I wrote a feature about the power of the purse switching from a luncheon to an evening reception. So it's great to hear from you about how the event was and how the energy was really brought up.
Yes, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So anyway, can't wait till next year. So Friday night, you had a great event.
I did. I went to Music on the Farm for the Land Trust for Tennessee, which is an amazing organization that I've highlighted before in different features I've worked on. And the Land Trust for Tennessee protects over 137,000 acres of green spaces from 76 counties from development to make sure that we have these beautiful parks and land to enjoy, which is so incredible. And Music on the Farm is the key spring fundraiser to help make this work possible because the event is not government funded. It relies solely on community donations. And the event this year was at Glenlevin Farm, just minutes from downtown. And it's this beautiful green oasis. I mean, you're literally in the city one second, at the farm the next. And I just love it. It was a great way to spend a Friday night. So the weather was perfect, and it was such a picturesque setting, a very relaxed environment, and guests were mingling on the lawn and in lawn chairs and also enjoying a crawfish boil from South Coast Seafood. And I'd never been to a crawfish boil before, but I feel like it's a very Southern thing, and I was glad to experience that for the first time.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
It was amazing. And the highlight of the evening was, of course, the musical entertainment by 6-time Grammy winner Sarah Jarosz, who is this incredible country artist with a lot of bluegrass influence. When she was being introduced, she was described as not having a stringed instrument that she could not play. She's this amazing guitar player, and her voice is crystal clear, and the whole audience was just entranced.
Amazing. Oh, that sounds so incredible. And you're right. You know, Nashville and Tennessee have so many beautiful natural resources. And it's so special that we have organizations like the Land Trust for Tennessee who are out protecting them every single day. And of course, the Land Trust for Tennessee is noted for being not just well known here in Nashville, but also as a standard for other land trusts throughout the country.
That's
and
right.
I think that's incredible.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, you had another incredible event this weekend. Tell us a bit more about that.
I did. And you know this, but there's a lot of talk around our offices about these legacy organizations and legacy events. And they all kind of have been happening recently over the last few years. And so this was a milestone for the Frist Art Museum. So on Saturday, we had the Frist Gala, which it takes place at the museum. The museum opened April 8th, 2001. And the evening was actually dedicated to Trisha Pom Pom Frist, who helped bring the museum to life. And in honor of her, they used her favorite color of yellow as the signature of the evening. So it was the signature color. And it was beautiful. And it was a very rich yellow that really resonated throughout the space. And so, you know, that beautiful Art Deco decor that the Frist Art Museum has was enlivened by this beautiful yellow that was pops of color throughout the space. the co-chairs for this very special year were Karen Frist with her daughters-in-law, Ashley, Elizabeth, and Margaret. And they worked with Dory Thornton of the social office to create this beautiful evening. As usual, guests mingled during the reception, and they visited the galleries to see the exhibits one more time. Yes. And so, that's the power of an art museum, is that it can bring more people into the spaces to see this art again and again, and maybe have a different perspective each time they see it.
That's right.
Now, wrangling this group to find their seats for dinner can sometimes be tricky, I just have to say, because they're all excited and they're talking and visiting. I will say, Executive Director Seth Feeman, he took the microphone, which he cleverly positioned in front of the bars in the dinner tent, so that everybody had to take their seat first, listen to his very short acknowledgments, and then we would go on with dinner. He noted in his talking points, on opening day, the Frist Art Museum was declared open today, tomorrow, and forever. And Seth noted that no one really knew what forever looked like. And one of the things that he said that really stood out to me is they were taking a big gamble with this big museum with a bold idea of displaying a constantly changing array of exhibitions along with creative community programs. Would it make it? Would it make it to what forever was going to be? Well, here we are 25 years later, and the Frist Art Museum has grown and changed and evolved. And he noted that just a few weeks ago, it welcomed its 5 millionth visitor.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
That's incredible.
I didn't even know that number. And so to hear it was just incredible.
Wow.
So it really was a special evening, and it was really great to be in the room for that. And so I'm appreciative to the team at the Frist to let us cover that, because it was just amazing.
Well, it's obviously such a local staple, but also something for people to travel to and go see.
That's
and
right.
It's so exciting that Nashville has such an art-focused hub.
Yes, that's exactly right. Well, while I was at the Frist Gala, you were at Glitz and Glamour.
I was. Glitz and Glamour is for the Tennessee Kidney Foundation, which I was so excited to learn more about because I'd never been at an event for them.
Sure.
And the organization empowers and supports those impacted by kidney disease, which, by the way, affects more than 1 in 7 U.S. adults.
Wow.
So it's incredibly common. And the funds raised at this year's gala helped the organization move dozens of individuals off the waiting list so that they can get into those programs for not only care and treatment, but also food security programs, because your kidney health is so impacted by what you eat, and making sure you're getting well-balanced meals. And the evening itself was full of Hollywood glamour. Similarly, it did have an Art Deco inspiration, and there were sparkles everywhere, these big Roman-looking columns that greeted you when you walked in. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And there was such a youthful energy in the room as well. There was really a mix of ages, and it shows that no matter how old you are or what generation you're a part of, people show up for these health events.
Right.
And especially for kidney disease, because it impacts so many people. So it was a really incredible evening, and I was so glad to cover it.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And I'm so glad you did that, and that we found out about it too. So yes, thank you for being there. Well, gosh, I guess that was the week.
That was.
Yeah. So we had an incredible week. We've got another great week coming up for you next week. We have the Gordon Jewish Community Center's Big Night Out, which was last night. It was so much fun. I can't wait to tell you about it next week. We also have the Tennessee Waltz Kickoff Party for the Tennessee State Museum. We have the Friends of Franklin Park's Dinner in the Barn, and the Swan Ball Underwriters Party.
Very exciting.
We've got an action-packed week for you next week, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you know about it immediately. Sign up for our newsletter so that you get that delivered to your inbox. Like and subscribe and comment to all of our social media. And remember that with you, our In Focus friends, we're in good company.
Cheers.
Cheers.